the phenomenon.
And then people do dumb things, like post pictures of themselves putting a pickaxe through a window in a riot in Vancouver.
Well, and that speaks, I think, to the performance art, that in our attention economy, attention by any means is justified. I mean, what strikes me as interesting in the naivety of these people not bothering to cover their faces is they wanted the attention. They didn't think about the consequences of that attention, but it really was riotous performance art, that it was driven by the cameras, that you want to sort of be seen behind the chaos without any realization of how that's contributing to the chaos or that there'll be consequences after the fact.
Are you encouraged or discouraged by the fact that people have been using social media in the wake of those riots to try and figure out who those people were with the pickaxes and leaping around on top of the cop cars?
Thoroughly and completely horrified, and I've been completely depressed now for 3 days, because to me it's the end of the world. It's the end of the rule of law. It's the end of any sense of human decency. It's the end of the internet as I knew it, as being a place for cooperation, that it's not just one big lynch mob. I mean, this is cyberbullying.
But isn't it actually doing what it's supposed to do? I mean, if you go and stand in front of a police car that's burning, and I have a photo of you, why shouldn't I turn it over to the cops?
We're not talking about turning over to the cops. That's not what we're talking about.
Or why should I say, I know who
why should you form a vigilante mob? Because that's against the law. Because that subverts the rule of law. It subverts the due process of law. It subverts the notion that you're innocent until proven guilty. Look, I'm an anarchist. I'm openly an anarchist. I've said that my entire life. I'm not in favor of violence. But I'm also for the rule of law, because the rule of law is the basis of freedom of liberty. And we're seeing that permanent dissolution. Right? The government today, the other column I'm offering to CBC stations, is talking about the lawful access legislation that the federal government is going to introduce, which will basically make Canada a surveillance state. So, I mean, that's them responding to the speed at which the vigilante mob meets up justice, and the Crown's jealousy of that speed. That they see, look, if we can't meet up justice in the same speed, then we'll be deemed irrelevant, because the people will be able to lynch these people and ruin their lives. Look, it's a broken window. Why ruin someone's life over a broken window? If this went through the rule of law, through the courts, the kid would get a slap on the wrist. But now what happens is their life is permanently ruined, because they're going to be notorious. They're going to be famous because they participated in the spectacle that was the performance art of the riot.
I think some people would say that it's more than a broken window and that they were culpable in that, but
let the law decide the penalties. Let us not allow the mob to meet up the penalties.
Jesse, thank you.
Thanks, man.
And just to clarify, I don't support rioting. And if there is rioting, I have no problems if people take photos and then post those photos online. What I do object to is when people take action after posting those photos, as if they feel entitled because the photo moves them to action, that action is then justified. Mob justice is no replacement to real justice.